Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. I just love it when our introduction countdown does not work, but that's okay. We just roll with the punches here because we are unstoppable. That is what we do. Tonight's sponsor of the show is Strongholds Foundation. Jen gives with over 25 years of leading, mentoring, and training and coaching people. She provides individuals and businesses personalized support to get aligned with your best life. So, for more information and to book your 30-minute consultation, go to www.jenzahari.com. Also, get a copy of her amazing book, Created No Way Out. It is about a woman named Faith who's on the verge of ending her life following decades of feeling unheard and unseen and suffering from anxiety. Looking back over her life as she moves through her final days, she recognizes how much pressure she put on herself and at all times, and how she lost sight of her self worth and confidence. Created is filled with emotion, unique insight on mental health, and an ending you totally don't want to miss. And I have my copy, so get your copy today. It is on Amazon or on her website, jenzahari.com. As well as we are the proud sponsor of Camaraderie Rescue Mission fundraising raffle. So Camaraderie Rescue Mission, with 28 veterans dying by suicide per day, we have become part of the solution. And we have teamed up with Camaraderie Rescue Mission and their programs to help our veterans fight PTSD and suicidal ideations. So if you feel inclined, we have a 6-month membership with Freedom Boat Club raffle going on. The main prize is in Winter Haven, Florida, but if you're not there, don't worry. They have over 350 locations, value of over $7,500. You get your t-shirt included on that. The ticket is only $100. So go to www.tcrmi.org/shop to get your ticket today. With that, I would love to bring the amazing Nancy Zitlin in. How are you doing tonight, Nancy?
I'm awesome and so happy to be here. Here I am. Here I am. Oh my God, still working this camera thing.
Okay, hold on. Oh, there you go. You're in
I'm
the middle
good.
now. You're in the middle.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hi.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
It is a pleasure meeting you. Like, this woman is on fire, and she is such a sweetheart. Like, such a sweetheart. So I could brag about you all night long, but let me hear you tell the audience what it is that you do, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. So I am a holistic nutrition health coach, and I work with women primarily on their relationship with food. And we all have a story about food. And generally, it's a story that goes way back, and we haven't brought it to surface because most everyone I know, most every woman I know has been on every diet there was. And there's no attention on what got you to this place.
Mm-hmm.
And until we bring that up and until we begin to peel the layers away, can you really fully embrace being a choice about food? And we've been so dictated by food, and we've been so like all the things you can't have.
Mm-hmm.
And then the moment your diet's over and you've lost your 20 pounds, you're back to square one. And so my feeling is taking this slow, breaking it down, and maybe looking at some of the ugly stuff that
Mm-hmm.
we haven't really wanted to address.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, I thought I was a really healthy eater. I absolutely thought I had it all down. And yet I had stomach issues for 35 years
Wow.
and was diagnosed when I was 19 years old with IBS. And most every woman I know has had some kind of issue with their stomach. And doctors are pretty good at just slapping a pill at you.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave me a pill. I was on it for 2 years. After 2 years, they said, well, we have to take it off because they're taking it off the market. So there I was. Now what? They told me to go home and take Metamucil and I'd be okay.
It's crazy.
And no one at 19 years old, when I went in, asked me what was going on in my life, what was my stress like, what was I up to. Well, I was up to being at college and being miserable and drinking a lot of alcohol and trashing my body and being completely stressed out because I was failing school. So had they sort of broken that story down, I
Mhm.
might have been dealt with very different.
Right.
Yeah.
And stress has, correct me if I'm wrong, but stress has a lot to do on the body. And, for people who are stress eaters, been there for most of my life. I finally have a grip on it, but for most of my life, I was a stress eater. So, when you're happy, you eat. When you're sad, you eat. When you have somebody over, you eat. And that's what we did.
Well, and as I've said in the last 2.5 years, if you were not an emotional eater, you became one. And if you were not somebody who had anxiety, you have anxiety. So there was a lot of people out there just trashing their bodies, not knowing how to deal with this shutdown and not connecting anymore in person with the people that they love. And but before that, I've been doing this for 7 years, and it's unfortunately an age old problem of not really addressing the really main core issues. And many women come to me who first thing out of their mouth is, I'm addicted to sugar. Well, not a surprise. And in some cases, it's not your fault. It really isn't, because if you started your day with a bowl of cereal, your body would continue to look for the sugar for the rest of the day. So people thought having a thing of yogurt is not a big deal. A thing of yogurt has more sugar than most candy bars, but
Yeah.
you think that you're eating like a good, healthy meal.
Right. Our friend Jenny says hi. Welcome to the
Hi,
welcome to the
Jenny.
show, Jenny. Yeah, and that's where, unless you really read the labels and unless you really understand what's in your food, what you think is healthy is really not. And for years I went through that. For years I read every label. I would get so anal, and then I would count every damn calorie. I would write everything down, and my Fitbit is always on me, so I would always go with calories in, calories out, making sure there was less calories that weren't burned than I had eaten. And it became like a massive nightmare. And I was just like, if this is what it is, like, this is bullshit, and not what I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing.
Well, there is a balance. I do believe you can find a balance. And I'm all about being a choice that if you go out, that you aren't the one sitting in the corner eating a piece of lettuce and a glass of water,
Hmm.
that you can partake in things. And again, it's not one of those things where you went on a Sunday night or a Monday and it's like, well, all right, well, I trashed myself. So I'm not going to start on this until
Hmm.
next Monday. And I think living like that is crazy making. So
Hmm.
why not be able to, the 80-20 split? I mean, I really think that if we could all live that way and have your treats, enjoy yourself, have your wine, but balance it out. And I believe our bodies tell us. I believe our guts know best.
Hmm.
And for me, after 35 years and then working with a health coach, and we kept tweaking and tweaking. And finally, she said to me, how about we eliminate gluten and see if that makes a difference? And that was the ticket for me. And it's not the ticket for everybody. And I'm very careful not to say, well, I gave up gluten and so everything got better. But
Right.
within 3 days, I was healthy. I mean, I felt better than I'd ever felt. So this was 35 years of feeling really bad in my stomach and eating foods that seriously my body just rejected. But, like having a piece of bread or going to a restaurant and eating some yummy loaf of sourdough bread, not a big deal, but it was. It was wrecking me. So,
Yeah. Jenny says people are surprised that most health good food is good for. Yeah. I think I've tried a lot of different recipes and a lot of different things, and exactly what you said is what I'm doing, like the 80-20. 80% of the time I'm clean, the 20% I'm gonna have, and if I really want that damn chocolate bar, I'm gonna eat it. And and sometimes that just a bite is sufficient. I don't need the whole thing. And then there are other days, give me three. No, I haven't done that in years, but
but
um,
realizing that you may, for me, as an example, if I eat a piece of pizza, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to feel my best tomorrow, but it is a choice. I I know what I'm doing to myself instead of just, sort of the unknown, and then my stomach tells me later. So, I think that that's how and it's very tailor made as to how I work with my clients, because there are no two people alike, and what is good for you could be poison to me and vice versa. So I find out kind of where you're at in your body, what you've been eating, and then we begin to break it down and we begin to bring out that story. And, there are a lot of women who had many eating disorders and believe that they've healed themselves, and they're not. They're not healed. It keeps like playing over and over. I had a client once say to me, "Did I tell you that I was anorexic when I was 16? Did I tell you that I was abused for 7 years? No." And that's a lot of story, and that's a lot of pain to walk around with. And the reason we have that middle or we have extra weight is that protection that, from the rest of the world, and that emotional eating, that like, if I could just eat that cookie, I'm going to feel better. And how I approach that is really take a breath. When you come home from work and you've had a slam day and you are just riding high, and you're like, oh, all I want is a bag of cookies. Stop, take a breath, and think about what's going on. Are you stressed? Are you sad? Do you feel like you just need to have a conversation? Do you feel like you need a hug? Because I think that instant gratification lasts so little, and then there's so much self-sabotage that goes on.
yeah, yeah. I know for me, like if I get into one of my trigger moments, I'll go for a walk
Mm.
or go do something and get my mind out of the moment that it triggered me. 9 times out of 10, it works. Um, Sugar is tough for most. They don't understand it's important, right? Same with dairy. Absolutely.
Sorry, my dog just flew
That's okay.
by.
And that's the power of live. Anything happens and it's fine.
Okay,
It's
cool. Good, good.
it's all good. So Nancy, what 3 things would you say that you've overcome to get to this point in your business and in your life in general?
Um, Number one was getting out of my own way. I felt like the work that I am doing today is the work that I've been doing all my life, and now I get paid for it. And I get to wake up every day and feel so excited about the work that I am doing. And I did not feel that for a lot of years. And
Mhm.
I was doing things because I thought I should do them. And um, every 7 years, it was like, it's time to go. It's time to get out of this. And I think timing is everything. So I was really ready. School, as I said, was a really awful experience for me. But to do this certification, I had to go back to school. And my tagline is, it's never too late to rewrite your story. And I did that in my mid 50s. And it was the best thing I ever did for myself, because I proved to myself that I can absolutely overcome that old story of mine about school.
Mhm.
Now I was doing things that resonated with me, things that really lit me up.
Right.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome. Actually, my grandmother, great grandmother, she was, I think, in her late 80s, 90s, and she went back to school and got a degree in something. I was just like, that's,
wow.
I know,
You
right?
go, girl.
Right?
That's amazing.
I mean, everybody else in her family has died before they were 75, but she lived to be close to 100, anyways, before she passed
Wow.
on. But yeah, she's going back to
Wow.
school blind, and I know for sure in one eye. And
Hmm.
yeah, went back to
Good for
school.
her.
And I'm just like, wow.
What I was going to say is the one other thing that I felt like I overcame was really getting out there, putting myself out there in the world as a health coach.
Mhm.
And my brother, who's a master marketer, said, "Look, you're going to be great at what you do, but first things first, you're a salesperson." So I needed to sort of buck up and put myself out there. And I started networking. And again, networking to me sounded like the most awful thing I could possibly do. Like I'd rather stick needles in my eyes. And I did it. But I have found that women networking is a whole lot different than men and women in networking. So,
Yes, yes. Yeah, and the funny thing is, okay, so before the pandemic, and oh my gosh, for I don't know how many businesses I've had over the years. Like back when I was 19, I had my first business in I forget what it was. Besides babysitting, it was I was in candles. No matter what, I was in candles. I was in financial services. There were so much things that I've done over the years. Travel packages, you name it. I pretty much done it. And I forget where I was going with this. Sorry, there was a scroll moment. What were we talking about before that?
about doing things that are hard and
Oh,
pushing yourself into doing things that don't feel good, but you do it
networking.
anyway.
Networking.
Networking.
So I joined these networking groups and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I ended up going because I had built some relationships in there. But I mean, to put myself out there and go up and say, "Hi, my name is Dorothy Graham. How are you?" It was because it was Graham back then. And I felt so uncomfortable. And they were clicky, like very clicky. Since the pandemic, though, and you've had to do everything online and
Oh,
everything's virtual, I find it's a lot better. I find that like the clickiness, well, either I've grown or the new one, the like we met at Women Belong, and I love everybody that was in there. Like it was just so they're so nice, they're so helpful. They refer people to you, and it's just like it's amazing. So I don't know. Maybe I've grown, or maybe I just gotten into better organizations. Either or.
well, I think that it's a little bit of both, probably. And I think what Women Belong has done for me has totally connected me with some phenomenal women that at this time in my life I might never have known. And we all get to show up and just be who we are.
Right.
And I think in like the old days of networking, it was like, shake your hand and here's my business card. Next,
Yeah.
there's no
Exactly.
connecting.
No, there, it was yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I interpret it. So I get it. Like when you said networking, you'd rather stick a needle in your eye. I get
Oh my God. And my dear friend Dorothy said, you know what? I'm going to bring you to a meeting and I'm going to show you how women do it. And it
it.
made a huge difference. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
And so, what three things would you say that you help your clients overcome?
Again, everybody is different in this story. Um, but I think when women come to me who are type A, who have worked their butts off and not put any attention on themselves, discovering themselves in this and creating a new relationship with themselves has been so powerful. And I believe that if you can step away and give yourself that time, you're going to be a whole lot better for yourself and everybody else.
Mhm.
So that is a number one for me. And number two is the really feeling like I have no more hope. I Those are the women that show up. I've tried every possible thing out there and nothing sticks. I
Mhm.
have no hope. And I believe that I hold hope for them and I hold this safe space to be able to show up and, as I said, talk about that hard stuff. Um, and then that conversation, oh, for many who say to me, I just want you to know, I'm not cooking. I don't cook. I hate cooking. And I said, okay, well, we'll keep talking about that. No, I'm sure that's never going to happen. I said, I think it's really important to put your hands in your food. I think it's extremely important because you know what goes in.
Mhm.
And one of my clients, she's a past client, and she laughs at herself now because she's in the kitchen all the time. And she totally overcame it. And she really, like, I mean, when I met her, I asked her what she would eat for dinner, and she said, a bag of broccoli. A bag of broccoli. Like, who can live on that? She
I'm
said, I
touching
just,
the gas. Like
oh,
serious.
I mean, seriously, I would have exploded by then completely. And she
Right.
was like, it's fine. It's normal. And a little LaCroix, I'm okay. I'm like, yeah. So that's the other thing is that I think that my clients, many, don't eat enough in the day. And so I think it's important to find the balance and find out what you can eat during the day and making time for it.
Mhm.
Put it on your calendar if you have to, because everything else goes on your calendar. Why not lunch? Why not take a break? Why not? Because I know, Dorothy, you go out and you take walks
Yeah.
at work. And I just think that's brilliant when people say to me, I don't have time to have physical exercise. Well, you do it from work.
Yeah.
We all have the time to take care of ourselves. And giving ourselves permission to do it is a whole nother story.
Well, and I think in some cases, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If you find it a priority, you'll make time for it, and if it's not a priority, you won't make time for it. So, what do you want? Like you can't have both. So you got to make some sacrifice somewhere. Um, and whether that's not watching a television show for 30 minutes and then you go have a quick walk, you don't have to do it for hours. Just go make that decision to go for a walk. It's 20 minutes around the four roads that I live behind, and I do that every morning at 6:30 in the morning. And then if I don't have a meeting on my lunch hour or the heat wave has been absolutely freaking nuts.
Horrible.
I went for only 15 minutes on my lunch today, and I'm like, that's all I can handle. Um, so.
I think, as you said, I think, first of all, finding the thing that you like.
Mhm.
If I said to you, you need to go swim an hour every day, you may go
Yes.
like, well, you like that. But there are some people who would go like, I hate swimming. I hate swimming. Or you need to, whatever it is, I think if you don't connect with it, it's not going to happen. I'm a big walker. That's where I get my exercise. I am a
Yeah.
speed walker and I have a Peloton behind me. And in the winter, I'll use it. But right now, I love it. And in the winter, if you have the right clothes, you can keep walking.
Hmm.
So I believe it is a priority and it is a commitment to yourself. And the commitment is the conversation we have when we start working together.
Right. And if you don't make yourself a priority, no one else is going to make you that priority. And just wait until your health decides to really go to the crapper. And then you'll wish, oh, I wish I would have done that. Trust me, I've heard I wish for 20 years out of my mother. And I wish I would have done this. And I wish I would have done that. And I wish I would have done this. But you just wished your life away when you could have just been doing it. Just saying.
Absolutely, because all we have is now. And honestly, I think there was a lot of gifts in the last 2.5 years
Mhm.
to the tragedies of how many people we lost and the devastation of that, I personally felt like I embraced life more fully and just with the relationships in my life because I'm here today, but I don't know. There are no guarantees here. So if you feel like you want to do it, go fucking do it, Let's
Exactly.
have at it because and the reason I think health coaches are coming out more and more right now is because doctors have very little time to spend with you. Doctors don't ask the questions that I do. They don't dig in deep. And I feel like if you can put your attention in a different way, you won't have to be taking that pill
Yeah.
in the next year or two and wait for them to say you have diabetes or high cholesterol or and by the one other thing is that I really look at your background. Where do you come from? What is your lineage? Because it plays a big role in who you are today. And you can work your butt off to have low cholesterol, but if it is in your family, sometimes you do need something. I know I'm not for it by any means, but I do think that that's the thing. If your parents are alive, ask the questions.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny that you said that because I also am friends with a holistic doctor in the Chicago area, and she's like, "Well, what was your birth like? What was this like? What was that like?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't have those conversations with my parents." And so I lost my dad in September, so I we knew it was coming, so I had asked him some questions that I thought to ask before he went completely downhill, and so then I sat down with my mom and I'm like, well, and started asking her more questions, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize that. And
Well,
I
there,
kind
I,
of
I
did.
had a doctor who asked me, first question out of his mouth, the holistic doctor, were you breastfed? I was like, as a matter of fact, I wasn't. I was the third one. My mother was like, I'm done. Um, but I think for women specifically, if your mother is alive, to
Mhm.
find out when did she go through menopause? What was it like for her? Because pretty sure you're in line for something similar. So,
Well, I've already outlasted my mom. My mom had a hysterectomy when I was 16, so I've already surpassed that.
okay. Yes.
So that she would have been 36. So I've surpassed that because I almost by 10
Good.
years. It'll be 10 years in 2 weeks. So yeah, I've surpassed that.
Congratulations. That's good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, genetics have a big part to play in different things. And yeah, you're right. Ask those questions. Why you still
Ask
got
them
them.
exactly. Exactly. Of course, I had a mother who, when I said, what was menopause like? She said it was a breeze. I lived there. I'm telling you, 10 years was not a breeze.
My mother, if she could have, would have went out and sat naked on a snow hill, because I remember her hot flashes being really bad.
Horrible, horrible. Up, down, up, down, up, down, right?
Yeah, yeah, like so many times. I'm gonna go out there naked and sit on a snow hill. I'm like, okay, well, you go do that.
Good luck with that.
I'm just picturing it.
Right, right. That's a great picture. Too bad you didn't get it,
I know, right? Oh, anyways. So Nancy, where's the best place that you would like people to connect with you at?
At nancyzitlin.com. And I would like to offer anybody who's listening or anybody out there who wants a complimentary session, you can sign up on my website. There's lots of choices. And if you want to just hang out and learn more, I have a place to do one on ones. And I'm very open to have a conversation. As you can see, I'm pretty passionate about what I do and love meeting more awesome women. So,
It's so awesome. Thanks to our viewers, and thanks to those people that are going to be watching this on the replay. We totally appreciate you. And Nancy, thank you for coming on the show
Mm,
today. Do
thank
you want to
you.
leave our guests with any last words before we wrap it up?
I want to thank you for sure. I was honored to be a part of this. And I would say take a breath, drink lots of water, and make yourself a priority.
I love all of that. And that's like another mic drop. My shows are ending with mic drops. That's
Mm.
awesome. So, with that, folks, be unstoppable in all that you do. We'll see you same time, same channel next week. And bye for now.